Let's talk the NBA's Eastern Conference and what to make of it thus far. Non-ball knowers, they'll tell you, oh, the East is trash. The Eastern Conference doesn't hold a candle to the West. And I think they're wrong. And I think that we're in store for one of the most interesting and scintillating conference races that we've seen over the recent years. Why? Well, that's because the Eastern Conference is wide open. Have we seen enough ball to be making all of these accurate assumptions? Well, we're 1/10 of the way through an 82-game season, with most teams having played around 8 games. And if you're here for the drama and the soap opera aspect of the NBA, well, look at the Western Conference. Disgruntled superstars, underperforming superstars, a franchise that's in complete disarray. The Western Conference has all the drama and a lot of ball as well, with the defending champs off to a hot start, having just lost their first game of the season last night at the hands of the Portland Trailblazers. But the East, well, that's where the fun lies. There are a lot of good teams that you should be watching that could easily find themselves as Eastern Conference champs. Who will it be? Let me tell you. Start with 2 teams that got off to fast but unexpected starts: the Chicago Bulls and the Philadelphia 76ers. For the Chicago Bulls, if you go back and watch my season preview series, I did not see the vision initially. But when I drilled down into the roster, I saw that this was a pretty good team, going 2 deep at most positions, that had high-level talent, and it seemed as if maybe they could put something together. Thing with the Bulls, though, is it's a fool me once, fool me twice type situation, as they perennially underachieve in the time that they've had under Billy Donovan. They have flushed out the DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine era of Chicago Bulls basketball. And with Coby White on the sideline, Josh Giddey has fully taken the reins and led this team off to an exciting start. 6-1 their record, that includes wins over their toughest competition within the East. They've beaten Detroit. They've beaten Orlando. They've beaten Atlanta. They've beaten the Knicks once, and they had that great come from behind victory against the Philadelphia 76ers. So the question lies, are the Chicago Bulls for real in the East race? Why not? In this wide open East, I like the Bulls roster. That money that the Bulls paid Giddey in the offseason, it's looking worth it. Though, should you be fooled by the Chicago Bulls? I think not. I think you should watch the Bulls as their season evolves, and if they can truly be a contender. How about the Philadelphia 76ers? Is it enjoyable to watch Sixers ball now? Tyrese Maxey, back healthy, balling out. Currently the 2nd leading scorer in the NBA, over 33 points per game. Valdez Drexel Edgecombe Jr., aka VJ Edgecombe, currently in pole position in the Rookie of the Year race. And most importantly, they're not having to lean on Joel Embiid. Played just 5 games, he's averaging over 17 points. And it feels like every night you're not really sure what to expect. He could play at an MVP level. He could also play 5 minutes and have to check out of the game. If Tyrese Maxey can sustain his play, Philadelphia can continue to stack wins and be in the mix in the Eastern Conference. He is the clear top dog leader for this team now. And as he continues to get help from their supporting talented cast, the Sixers, I expect to continue to win games. If you watched season 3's last season, I told you I'm not a Detroit Pistons fan, but I'm a fan of what they are doing, and that is because of their top dog, Cade Cunningham. Picking up right where he left off, having an all-NBA caliber start to his season. This man has all the tools to lead a team to the promised land. Bonafide franchise championship caliber player in Cade Cunningham. And they have surrounded him with good pieces. The Detroit Pistons sitting at 6-2. So far, their schedule has probably been a little light. Their best win of the season against the Houston Rockets. Their 2 losses coming against the aforementioned Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers, 2 teams that figure to be in the running for their competition to win the Eastern Conference. But this Detroit Pistons team is for real because of Cade Cunningham. Would it surprise me if the Detroit Pistons were to be the overall 1 seed in the East come the end of the regular season? Absolutely not. How about 2 teams that were favorites to win the conference preseason that got off to slower than expected starts? Both sitting at 5-3, the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, they came out of the gates like Usain Bolt at the start of last season, reeling off 15 straight wins. Was it realistic to expect such to begin this season? I don't think so, especially without Darius Garland, who now is back healthy and in the fold. And for the Cleveland Cavaliers, it comes down to the same thing it did last year. Can Evan Mobley be that bona fide number 2 guy, and some nights the number 1 guy to help support Donovan Mitchell? Donovan Mitchell has been in this league long enough, and we have seen him do it in the playoffs, to believe in him and what he can do in leading a team. As for Evan Mobley, there are still question marks about the big man. Uber talented, one of the best defensive and two-way players in the game. He can get stops on one side and get buckets on the other. But can Mobley be that guy that can lead them on the nights when maybe they don't have Mitchell? For the Knicks, something just feels off with this group. Maybe it's the fact that they fired their head coach that had been the most successful coach in recent Knicks history. Maybe it's just a process of finding their footing under Mike Brown, and it will be 1 step back for 2 steps forward. But for me, with the Knicks, it goes down to their roster, and I still think that they are one piece away, one player that can just provide a little bit of juice, a little bit of grittiness, and a spark that would elevate them to the top tier upper echelon of the East. Sitting at 5-3, 8 games into the season, that's no reason to panic for either franchise and their fan base. So don't sell your stock on the Knicks or the Cavs thus far, as they figure to be firmly within the mix across the course of the season. But there's another team sitting at 5-3 that I believe to be the favorites in the Eastern Conference. The Milwaukee Bucks. Why? Giannis Antetokounmpo. All the drama that surrounded the Bucks prior to the season beginning, the rumored flirtations, and Giannis saying he wants to be traded and only to one team, and that would be the New York Knicks. It was a war in the press between Giannis and Shams. Who to believe? Well, Giannis has let his game speak. This is a man coming off a season in which he played his best career ball, that he may have a level that is even higher. Giannis is the consummate team player and franchise guy. He hasn't said a peep that has led you to believe that he wants out of Milwaukee and is disgruntled. And he continues to put it on the floor every single night. Third in the NBA in points per game, 32.3. He's also averaging 12.6 rebounds and 6.3 assists. And the roster surrounding him fits surprisingly well. Their second leading scorer, unless you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan, I don't think you would know, Ryan Rollins. Their big swing in the offseason to placate Giannis and try to keep this roster in championship contention, Miles Turner. He's proved to be a good complement both defensively and offensively to Giannis, to not have the Bucks feeling like they miss Brook Lopez. This team reminds me a lot of the Dallas Mavericks with Dirk Nowitzki the year that they won the title. And that is more so than anything credit to Giannis and the level that he is playing. A superstar that if you wanted to make a case as the best player in the NBA, well, I may argue with you, but you have a very solid case to stand on. So the Bucks with Giannis and the East with the picture that it is, well, I think their chances are as good as any. Right now, my favorites to win the East. How about two teams with high expectations heading into the season, trendy picks that thus far have underperformed? The Orlando Magic. Oh, what is wrong with the Orlando Magic? Their offense continues to be one of the worst in the NBA. It bears questions. Is it the players, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Desmond Bane, or is it the head coach, Jamal Mosley? Mosley is now in his 5th year in Orlando, and prior to last season's injury-riddled campaign, they had increased their win total every season, but their offensive rating, 23rd in the league. So there are 7 teams that are worse, but that is the Brooklyn Nets, the Utah Jazz, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Pelicans, the Pacers, the Wizards, and the Mavericks. That is not distinguished company, and for a team that clearly has the talent, eventually the fingers are going to be pointed at the head coach. And as of now, I think that Mosley is the head coaching candidate most likely to be fired first if his team continues to underperform. And the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young out for 4 weeks. The story with the Hawks, it continues to be a what is this team capable of? Are they a team that could find themselves in the mix in the East? Well, with the roster that they have, absolutely. But Quinn Snyder, their head coach in his 4th season, has not taken the Hawks to the playoffs once in his tenure. So if you want to keep an eye on another head coach that will be on the hot seat if his team continues to underperform, it would be him. But as of now, with Trae Young sidelined, we're going to just have to wait and see on these Atlanta Hawks. I came into this season saying that the Sixers were the biggest unknown in the East. And thus far, they have refuted that with their stellar play. So now, I think the biggest wild card in the East is the Miami Heat. For a team that knew that they would begin the season without their leader and top dog in Tyler Hero, a 4-4 start is probably above expectations. And now with the potential foot injury looming for Bam Adebayo, they find themselves in a state of injury disarray. Norman Powell has proven to be a very good addition to their squad, and their offensive overhaul has led to a group that leads the league in pace and is 4th in points per game. I said it preseason, I still believe in it. Do not doubt a team with a roster constructed by Pat Riley and a head coach in Eric Spoelstra. Miami, as they continue to get healthy, get Adebayo and Hero back, could be a surprise contender in the East. And a team that will not win a lot of games. They haven't, 1-7 currently, but they are fun and exciting to watch. The Washington Wizards. Alex Sarr, I think, has all-star potential, and he may even put that together this season. Joined by Keyshawn George, Trey Johnson, Bilal Coulibaly, who is now back healthy, Bub Carrington. This is a team that has pieces under 21 years old. Some of them not even old enough to legally drink. They're going to take their lumps. They're going to lose games, but they're competitive, and they are building towards something which is more than some of these other franchises can say. Because for these remaining 4, fasten your seatbelts. It is going to be a bumpy ride for the remainder of the season. I'm talking the Charlotte Hornets, the Indiana Pacers, the Boston Celtics, and the Brooklyn Nets. The Indiana Pacers and the Boston Celtics, they are in the same boat. Both missing 2 of the top 3 players in the Eastern Conference, the Celtics with Jason Tatum, the Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton. So it's to be expected that they would struggle. When you have an injury like that, you see the trickle-down effect. The Celtics were so good and won a title because of their depth. When a player like Derek White is your 6th to 7th best player, well, that's a pretty damn good team. When Derek White is expected to be your 2nd or 3rd best player, that's a team that may struggle. And that's no shot at Derek White. He's a great player. But that is just the reality that the Celtics face, given the injuries and the roster gutting that they experienced with the ownership transition and the Achilles injury to Jason Tatum. As for the Pacers, their season has been absolutely ruined by injury, both for Halliburton at the end of last season and the injuries that they've experienced thus far. So this is a team that is playing clearly for the lottery. The Brooklyn Nets and the Charlotte Hornets. There are people that believe in the Charlotte Hornets because they believe in LaMelo Ball. I am not one of them. I think LaMelo Ball has all of the talent in the world, but what he has in talent, he lacks in maturity. He is a player that is yet to show he is willing to make the steps to become a mature franchise leader that can guide a team and a franchise out of the wilderness and into a level of success. LaMelo, he's going to put together a hell of a highlight reel across the course of the season. He's going to hit some step-back threes, make some outrageous passes, and maybe even hit some game winners. But when it comes to building culture around your superstar in Charlotte, I don't think they have it with LaMelo Ball. And if they want to get there, he's going to be a guy that has to go. And the Brooklyn Nets, I don't even know what to make of the Brooklyn Nets. Given the keys to Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Thomas, and these guys are content to shoot. Not a whole lot of defense is going to be played in Brooklyn this season, and accordingly, not a whole lot of games are going to be won. Their head coach, Jordi Fernandez, already talking about communication issues and struggling to get through to the team and having them compete at a level he's asking them to do. That is never a good sign when you're less than 10 games into the start of your season. Optimism usually doesn't fly out the window before the calendar turns to December, but unfortunately, with the Brooklyn Nets, that is where we're at. So there you have it. How's it going down thus far in the East? I gave you my contenders, my favorite, the Milwaukee Bucks, the teams that you should believe in. Non-ball knowers, they will tell you that the East is by far an inferior conference to the West. And yes, at the top end, they do not have it. But what is so enjoyable about the East this season is that it is wide open. So sit back, relax, and watch some Eastern Conference ball. You may enjoy it. Be on the lookout for coming episodes of Season 3. Coming next, I tell you why the NBA Cup is a failure. And Season 2 of the Signature Sneaker Showdown, where we crown the top signature sneaker king in the NBA. Episode 1 of this season, Victor Wembanyama against Cooper Flag. Hope you enjoyed getting all of your ball knowledge here at Z's and Threes. We will see you back here next time.